Well, good morning everybody. It's a brand new day here on Sugar Cube Creek, and the reason why I have this muzzleloader barrel inside of a vise is that the nipple is stuck. I bought this rifle many years ago, and I only bought it for just the stock so that I could put one of my barrels on it. And the reason I am doing this is that I am going to get a bullet stuck inside this barrel, and the plan is to show you how to remove a stuck bullet without damaging the barrel. This barrel is rusted up. It is what I call a tomato steak. It's not worth shoving in the ground and keeping your tomatoes from falling over. But in this case, I'm going to pretend like this is a barrel that I would very much like to keep. The nipple is stuck, and I'm going to show that. The nipple is stuck, and I tried to put my nipple wrench on it and it wouldn't come out. And so I am going to now heat that up just a little bit. And for the guys that are the first ones to jump on the ship about you need to make sure it's not loaded and all that other stuff, I have pictures from my bore camera that I will post with this video, and there is nothing inside the barrel. It is an empty barrel. So with that said, I am going to apply a little bit of heat to this. And I'm not going to apply a whole lot of heat, just enough to swell up the snail just a little bit. And when that snail gets swelled up just a little, I'm going to attempt to try to take that nipple out. I want to heat it up. I want to heat the snail enough to get the nipple out, but I don't want to heat the nipple itself. That way, hopefully it releases. And there it goes. Just adding a tiny amount of heat, not much. Got that to loosen up. So I'm going to show that a little bit. Previously, when I did that, I bent my nipple wrench just a little bit. It's still really tight. I hope that's showing. Yeah, the backlight is probably pretty bad. But anyway, I heated that nipple, that snail, just a little bit, and I can get that to loosen up. It is still really tight. but it's out. And I'm going to show that a little bit from this other angle so that the lighting is a little better. You can see this nipple is very rusty. It didn't have any grease on it. There's, if you can see down in there, there is a large amount of rust and just junk inside there. That barrel is in real bad shape. So with that said, the next stage, I'm gonna leave that barrel just the way it is. Well, like I said, I'm going to leave that barrel just the way it is, all rusty and crappy. Again, this barrel is not a barrel that is salvageable. It is junk. And so the next stage is I am going to drive a bullet into this thing, and it is going to be difficult. So with that, I am going to go on to the next portion of this, is driving a bullet down this barrel. So I'll take this up in just a minute. Okay, everybody, the idea here is to basically replicate a stuck hunting bullet, and this barrel is extremely rusty, and it had a stuck nipple in it, which is not uncommon for a muzzleloader to happen when it's not taken care of. So what my plan is here, I'm going to put a cloth patch, I hope that shows. I'm putting a cloth patch over this, and that cloth patch is thick. This bullet right here is one of my 500 Smith & Wesson bullets. It is full bore size at 501. So we're going to be probably at least 12 thousandths over, I'm not sure, but this is going to be hard to drive down, and I'm going to do this with a solid ramrod, and this is a worst case scenario right here. This is a stuck bullet. This is one that guys would say is a stuck bullet from hell. I want this to be the absolute worst case scenario. Because I want to show how you take a stuck bullet out. So, and because this barrel is junk, I'm just going to go ahead and tap this in with a bolt, because I don't want to bend a ramrod right at the beginning. I guarantee you that this is going to be a stuck bullet. This bullet doesn't have any powder behind it. Okay, what I have now is a stuck bullet. That bullet has is also that is also called dry balled. This bullet is stuck. So for the first try, what I'm going to try to do is to apply air. The first thing that a guy should try right off the bat when you got a dry ball or a stuck ball is, let me see if I can get this up here a little bit, is to make sure that your powder has been killed. You'll want to put oil inside of that. Make sure that you don't have any way for that charge to go off. A little bit ago, I heated that up, pulled that nipple out, and again, if it's loaded, you need to make the charge so that it's dead. Just, you know, water inside there, oil. Oil's probably the best because it'll penetrate into the whole powder charge. So the first try we're going to do is air. And what I have here is a rubber tip on my compressor here, on my hose. So I'm going to hit this with air first, and I'm going to see if I can get this more on the object here. So here we go. First try with air. Nothing. Okay. That was with, let me see what my pressure is. That was with 110 pounds of air, and it's not budging. So now what we're going to do, because we have it desperately stuck, this bullet can't come out. What I'm going to do now, I hope this shows, is I am going to thread a long grease zerk. That's 1/4 by 28. I'm going to thread that in there. And I'm going to tighten that up just a little bit. I'm not going to go very much. It doesn't have to be super tight. Just snugged up a little. Okay, that's just snugged up. Now, this is what it looks like. Okay, what I've got here is a little grease gun, and this thing, I don't think it cost me 20 bucks at the local hardware store. It uses little tiny grease tubes, and these grease tubes are, like I said, little bitty things. Again, this is nothing special. This is nothing that takes that's hard to find. This is just something you can find at the local hardware store. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to hook this up to the grease zerk, and I'm going to start pumping this. And this thing it's tight. Oh, it came off on me. Okay, it's getting easier to pump. It's getting very easy to pump at this point. Alright, let me check and see what our progress is. And we'll see if it's ready to blow out with the air. May not be yet. A little bit of grease got around the edge of the bullet. So if you want to just go ahead and shut this down for a second. So what I've done here is I've hooked up the grease gun and I've pumped some grease into it, and the bullet is moving. I tried to hit it with a little bit of air, but it's still too stuck. So I'll show you a little bit closer. I pumped that up. This is where the bullet's at right now. The bullet's right about here. And I don't know if this is going to show or not. Hope it does. Maybe I'll turn it just a little bit. Anyway, so I've got my little grease gun hooked up to it. These things can develop 5,000 psi. Let's see where we're at now. So the bullet is only right here. So I ended up having to put another grease tube on to get this finished up. I can hear the grease coming out the end, or the noise coming from the bullet moving down. I'm going to put a paper towel underneath that so when it comes out it doesn't land on my bench. See where it's at now. Oh, it's right at the very end. It's right at the tip. So it's about ready to come out. And there it is. That zoom in doesn't really work that great, but you can see the bullet is coming right out the end. Okay, and there it is out. The stuck bullet is not stuck anymore. So now we have to deal with the grease that is inside the barrel. So I am going to go get my jag, and I'll be right back. Okay, what we're going to do now is one of the things that I think a lot of guys, they don't want to make a big mess. They don't want to have all that grease, I guess. I don't know. I mean, I've heard of guys heating the barrel up to melt the lead. I have seen posts where guys glue drill bits to the ends of rods and try to drill the... I mean, I have seen stuff that people have tried to do over and over and over, and the stuff never works. Well, what you've seen here, I hook up the grease gun and I just push it out with grease. So here's what we're going to do next. We're going to get the grease out. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take the grease gun off the Zerk and put that away. We don't need it anymore. The bullet's out. Now I'm going to remove the grease Zerk from the barrel. And the whole point of this is to try to keep it from being as messy as we possibly can, because evidently guys would rather ruin their barrels than use grease to push it out because it's so messy. Well, I'm going to see if we can't figure this out so that it's not so messy. So we're going to put a little bit of grease on this patch, and we're just going to smear it in there a little bit. That way our patch doesn't get stuck with our jag, but it shouldn't because there's grease in the barrel. And so what we're going to do now is, hopefully this shows, make sure that it does. I'm going to push the grease out of there. So just a little dab has come out. So what we're going to do is I'm going to push the grease out of this with the jag. Make sure that we're showing here. Hopefully that does. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to push out the grease. Okay, that's all the grease in the barrel. And as you can see, we really don't have a mess. It's not a mess at all. So I'm going to pull the jag back out, and there's my patch, there's the grease, and the next stage is to clean this. So I'm going to set this aside for right now, and I will clean the barrel. So that's where we're at for right now. Okay, the next stage, I hope this is showing, but I've got some pretty warm water. I don't have boiling water. I'm not putting boiling water in it. Putting some dish soap, and that's in a soup can. It's actually a green bean can, or mixed vegetables. And you don't need a bathtub full of water. You don't need a 5-gallon bucket full of water. You don't have to boil water for 3 days to get enough hot water to be able to clean it. You just need a soup can. So I'm going to put that in there. And one of the things that I guess people are scared of is the grease, because it's going to be all that grease inside the barrel. But as I showed, I was able just to push the grease out. Matter of fact, you could probably reuse the grease if you so desire. You could squeeze it right into another bottle to be able to reuse it. All the greasy water is right there. So I'm actually going to take that water because it's got most of the what little bit of residue of grease there was, and I'm going to go ahead and just pour that. So save yourself a bunch of time, a bunch of headache, and just use the grease gun. And once the bullet's out, push the grease back into another container. You can use it again, or you can just throw it away. You got $1's worth of grease. So anyway, that is going to be the end of this video, and I hope it is helpful to guys that have got stuck bullets and balls inside their muzzleloaders. So until next time, I will see you on Sugar Cube Creek.